Hello, everyone. Welcome to a brand new journey. I'm Jenna.
And I'm Carlos. We are so incredibly happy to have you here for our very first episode. This podcast was created for you, the student who is right in the middle of the bridge. You are not a beginner anymore, but you want to reach that advanced level. You want to feel the language.
That's right, Carlos. We want to talk about real life, not just grammar rules from a book, but the way we live, the way we feel, and the way we remember our own stories. And today, we are going back to a very special place, high school.
Imagine a typical American high school. You've seen it in the movies, right? The yellow buses, the long hallways, the lockers, and the big football fields. But what is it actually like to spend a whole day there? Today, Jenna and I are going to tell you our stories.
We will talk about our routines, our friendships, and the small things that made school a unique experience. So, grab a cup of coffee, relax, and let's dive into a day at school with me.
So, Jenna, let's start at the very beginning, the morning. For me, the day started with a very specific sound. The sound of my mom knocking on the door at 6 a.m. saying, "Carlos, get up, you're gonna miss the bus."
I remember that pressure. In the U.S., school starts very early, usually around 7:30 or 8 a.m. If you live far away, you have to be at the bus stop when it's still dark outside.
Exactly. I lived at the end of a cul-de-sac, so I had to walk to the corner. I can still feel the cold morning air. I would stand there with my backpack, which was always too heavy because of the giant history textbooks, waiting for those big yellow lights to appear.
And once you step onto the bus, it's a different world. It's loud, it smells like old seats, and everyone is talking. It was the first social moment of the day. You find your friends, you talk about the homework you didn't finish, or the game from last night.
When the bus finally arrives at school, you see hundreds of students walking toward the main entrance. It's like a hive of bees. The first destination, the locker.
The locker is so iconic. It's your tiny piece of private property in a public building. I remember my combination by heart, even today. I had photos of my dog inside, a small mirror, and way too many old gum wrappers.
After the first bell rings, you have about 5 minutes to get to class. If the door closes and you aren't inside, you are tardy. Do you remember the homeroom period, Jenna?
Of course. Homeroom is where we start the day. We listen to the announcements on the PA system. The principal tells us about the club meetings, the lunch menu, and the sports results. It's a moment to breathe before the real work begins.
My first period was usually math. I struggled with algebra. I remember sitting there, looking at the clock, waiting for the minutes to pass. But then, the teacher would say those two words that every student hates, the pop quiz.
The pop quiz. That is a classic American school experience. No wanting, no preparation. Just a piece of paper and your memory. It was stressful, but it taught us about being ready for anything. It's a big part of the learning mindset we talk about so much.
And then there was English class. We called it language arts. We would read Shakespeare or Hemingway. For an intermediate student listening to us now, that sounds hard. But for us, it was about learning how to express human desires and emotions through literature.
All right, Carlos, let's talk about the most stressful yet the most exciting part of the day, the cafeteria. In every American movie, the lunchroom is where all the drama happens.
Oh, absolutely. The moment the lunch bell rings, it's a race. You want to get in line quickly because you want the best pizza slice before they run out. And let me tell you, school pizza in the U.S. has a very unique taste. It's square, it's greasy, but when you are 16, it's the best thing in the world.
And the tater tots, those small fried potato cylinders. I think I lived on tater tots for 4 years. But Carlos, the cafeteria wasn't just about the food. It was about where you sat.
That's true. It's like a map of the school's social life. You had the jocks, the athletes, sitting at one big table. You had the theater kids practicing lines at another. You had the band geeks and the tech kids. If you were new to the school, finding a seat was terrifying.
I remember that feeling. It's that human desire to belong. We all want to find our clique, our group. But looking back, I realized that some of my best friends were people who didn't fit into any specific group. We were just the misfits, and that was okay.
And the conversations. We didn't talk about math during lunch. We talked about who was going to the prom, the big formal dance, or who broke up via text message. It was a masterclass in human relationships.
After lunch, when you just want to take a nap, you usually have PE, or as we called it, gym class.
Gym class was either a lot of fun or a nightmare. Do you remember dodgeball, Jenna, where you try to hit the other students with a red rubber ball?
I hated dodgeball. I was always the first one out. But I loved the pep rallies. For our listeners, a pep rally is when the whole school goes to the gym. The cheerleaders dance, the band plays, and we all scream to support our sports teams. The school spirit is a very real thing in the U.S.
It really is. And once the final bell rings at 3 p.m., the school day doesn't really end. That's when the extracurricular activities begin. I stayed for soccer practice every day until 5:30 p.m.
And I stayed for drama club. We would stay late at night building sets and rehearsing plays. This is something very different about American schools. We spend almost our whole lives there. It's not just a place to study, it's a community.
It teaches you productivity and discipline. You have to manage your time between practice, clubs, and then going home to do 3 hours of homework. It's a lot of pressure, but it prepares you for the real world.
The bus ride home was always much quieter than the ride to school. The sun was going down, you were exhausted, and you just looked out the window listening to your iPod. Well, back in my day, it was an iPod.
I remember those sunset rides. You feel a sense of accomplishment. You survived another day of social pressure and academic challenges. You're one day closer to graduation.
So, to our students listening, school in the U.S. is about balance. It's about learning how to be a student, but also how to be a person. What about you? Does your country have school spirit like we do?
You know, Jenna, looking back at all these stories, the lockers, the pizza, the stress of the pop quizzes, I realized something important. High school wasn't really about the facts we memorized. It was about resilience.
That is so true, Carlos. It was our first real-life training ground. We learned that failing a test isn't the end of the world. We learned that friendships change, and that's okay. We learned that the most important thing is to just keep showing up.
And that's the message I want to leave for our students today. Learning English at an intermediate level is exactly like being in high school. Sometimes you feel like a new kid again. Sometimes you feel like you don't belong in the conversation because your accent is different or you forget a word.
But remember, even as native speakers, we felt that way too. We were nervous to speak in class, we were afraid of judgment, and we made mistakes every single day. The secret is to have a growth mindset. Don't focus on being perfect, focus on being brave.
Exactly. Every time you listen to a podcast like this, or you try to use a new real-life expression, you are passing a test. You are moving one step closer to your graduation, which is fluency.
So, as we wrap up our day at school, take a deep breath. You are doing a great job. Your journey is unique, and we are so proud to be a small part of it.
Well, the final bell has officially rung. Our day at school is over, but the learning never stops.
If you enjoyed this long conversation and want to join Jenny and Carlos for more adventures, please subscribe to the channel right now. Your support means everything to us.
Yes, hit that notification bell and give us a thumbs up if you learned something new today. We want to hear from you. What was the most American thing you heard in this episode? Was it the yellow bus? The lockers? Let us know in the comments below.
We read every comment, and we might even answer your questions in our next Q&A section. Until then, keep practicing, stay curious, and remember,
The world is your classroom. We'll see you in the next episode.
bye-bye, everyone!
See ya!